Hey guys, so this video is going to be about how to play Ace King. Ace King is a very deceptive poker hand in that it's one of the top possible hands, but there's a sharp drop off between aces and kings and Ace King. Ace King is not a made hand, and so whenever you don't flop an ace or a king, your hand is actually more of a draw or weak showdown than something premium. And the main tricky thing with Ace King is again managing the dissonance between, Ace King overall and everything together, and it's a premium, but your profit gets split into the times where you flop an ace or a king and you're doing great, or the times when you don't, and then it's difficult to maneuver and the hand kind of under realizes its equity. It underperforms compared to how strong it is, which is often the case in poker where the best hands such as overpairs, top pair, top kicker are going to overperform because money going in is good for you. Whereas something like ace high, it's tough for it to overperform unless you can read your opponent's soul. You're mostly just going to have tough decisions, or your opponent's going to realize his equity or things like that. So the main thing with ace king is to tell these two situations apart and recognize how to play each one. And that being said, let's start going through some hands with ace king. In this hand, we open ace king on the button. Our opponent calls big blind. We get a 10 deuce 7 rainbow board. This is a board where ace king can either check or bet small to medium and then try to show down. Those would generally be the two options. If you bet big with it, you're kind of destroying the showdown value of your hand. And in this wide range button versus big blind small, that's a shame. So we check back, turn jack of spades. Our opponent bets. We have two overcards, so a draw to top pair, top kicker, a draw to the nut straight. We might win with ace high, so we have a very easy call. And river three of hearts. Here, we really hope our opponent checks and we get to check down and win versus a busted draw. And if he bets, we're going to have a tough decision, and he does bet. And at this stage, we realize our ace king is only beating bluffs, so we might as well have something like ace deuce or pocket fours, and it's important that you visualize that because there's an emotional attachment with hands like ace king. But your ace king isn't ace king anymore. It's just an ace high that beats bluffs. And the fact that it used to be premium and it used to have potential doesn't matter anymore. So you can call or fold. In this case, we call and we beat queen 9. But you should be just as likely to call something like ace king on the river as something like ace deuce or pocket fours, etc. There are some nuances to which is better, but it's not necessarily ace king being the best one there. I'm Uri Peleg, and I've coached some of the world's best players who've gone on to win millions on the felt. I've assembled an elite team of poker pros for Lab 2.0, which I believe is the best poker course out there by a very wide margin. Take advantage of the Black Friday sale and get 25% off everything at upswingpoker.com, including my new course, Upswing Lab 2.0. Okay, let's look at another one. Here our opponent raises from the button. We're very deep. We re-raise huge from the big blind, and he calls, and we're well aware that this is going to diverge into two. If we hit, we're going to pile money in, and if we miss, it's going to be a difficult situation to manage, and there are a lot of bad outcomes for us. So here we go in between. We have a gut shot to the second nut straight and two overcards, and the board being low, our opponent misses it often. So ace king is a reasonable hand here, but not very strong. We start with a check and call a small bet from our opponent. No clue why he bets so small. We turn the ace of diamonds, but given there's 4 to a straight, and we lose to all of the wheel aces, which would be ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, our ace top pair, top kicker is not that strong. Remember, the strength of a pair is connected to the board as well. We decide to lead out small. Our opponent calls. River 6. 6 doesn't change a lot. 4 was a straight anyway, so we now lose to 5, 6 suited and sixes. We throw another small bet in, hoping our opponent calls and doesn't raise. If he raises, we're probably toast, and he does raise. Once he raises, we very quickly realize our ace king might as well be an a7 or a 6-7 suited, or just something that beats bluffs, a pocket eights. It's no longer the premium ace king we thought it was, and this is going to happen very often, guys, with hands like ace king, and that's why this video is so important. So we throw the emotional attachment away. Just imagine you have a hand like king deuce. Do you want to call this raise? Probably not. So probably fold here versus most people, and versus some guys you decide to be a hero and make a hero call. This case we do, and we get shown the bad news with our opponent rivering a set, but we were behind on the flop as well, and very lucky a 4 didn't roll out, and then it would have been straight over straight. Now let's look at a nicer one. So we raise ace king, we get called from the big blind, nice ace 10-9 rainbow board. We're gonna start piling in money, but we're well aware that if the board comes a 9 or a 10 or a jack or a queen, even an 8 or running flush cards, we're gonna have to tread carefully. So not all runouts are the same. Of course, ideally it comes something like deuce 3. So we start with a bet, our opponent calls. Turn beautiful rainbow 4, so we make a big bet. Way ahead still, our opponent calls. River king, so we river top 2. Perfect run out, we make a pot-sized bet, and our opponent, unfortunately for him, rivered king 10. So this is the good, easy scenario with ace king, right? Beautiful run out, but not always that easy. So here, blind versus blind, we 3-bet ace king, and we get a 4-5-9 two-tone board. Our opponent checks, and here ace king can bet or check, but the main thing to realize is it's not a premium hand anymore. This might it's stronger than king queen, but it's not anything special. It's way weaker than something like 9-8 or 6-7, maybe even weaker than something like 7-8. I think it's a bit stronger than 7-8. So yeah, we check back, turn the 8 of hearts, and our opponent checks again, and we're like, well, you know, we're really happy to see a river. We don't want to get check raised. It's not like he's folding any pairs if we bet, so we check down and river and ace. So luckily we improved for free. Our opponent let us get here. Now our hand's strong enough to bet, so we fire out a bet, knowing full well that if we get raised, our hand would be just a bluff catcher and we might have to make a tough laydown, and our opponent folds. So we'll make this the last one. We call ace king from the small blind versus under the gun. You can call this hand against tight opens, which you'll learn when we go through the preflop charts. We get a bad board, 4-7-8 two-tone. And here, ace king with the ace of diamonds, you probably call once because you still beat bluffs, and if you improve to an ace or a king, your opponent is likely to be aggressive on those cards. But yeah, we get the bad turn queen. Of course, we're checking again, and he checks back. River 4, and there's not much point in putting in money, really. We missed. We only beat bluffs. We really want to show down against ace jack or ace 10. So there's not much to do other than check down. We check and our opponent bets, and now we can decide, do we call, do we fold, do we turn our hand into a bluff raise? But either way, it's a very marginal spot. Like I said, ace king not very different than something like ace deuce or pocket deuces here. So we decide to call and get shown the bad news. But when you miss, basically, with ace king, and you have to treat it as an ordinary hand.
Don't miss our Black Friday sale. Get 25% off everything at upswingpoker.com, including all Lab 2.0 plans.